Hey everybody, Andy Stickel here. Today we are going to talk about the three most important SEO elements for your law firm's website, and this is if you want to rank in Google. So we're going to go from all three of these are very important, but I'm going to go from the least very important to the most critical and most important. So number 3 is the website's H1 header. Now the H1 header is a little bit it's a little difficult to identify, but when you go to a website, typically the biggest header on the website is going to be the H1 header. Basically, the biggest header, it's kind of like the page title, and a lot of times it'll say, New Orleans personal injury lawyer or Baltimore DUI attorney or whatever it is. But a lot of times SEO companies will not use keywords in the H1 header. So the H1 header is really important because it's kind of the overall title of the page, not to be confused with something we're going to talk about later. But basically, what you want to do in your H1 header is you want to make sure that you have a keyword that is relevant to basically one of your most important keywords and also your city. So with the H1 header, what I like to do is kind of make it conversational. So if your keyword is if you're a personal injury lawyer in New Orleans, a lot of times you'll see people put New Orleans personal injury lawyer, and that's okay, but I like trying to get different keywords in there and try to make the H1 header a little more conversational. So what I would say is something like personal injury lawyer representing accident victims in New Orleans since 1984 or something like that. That's kind of a nice page title. It gets New Orleans personal injury lawyer in there, but it's not necessarily just blatant New Orleans personal injury lawyer, which is what a lot of people do with their websites. Another thing about H1 header is make sure that you only have one H1 header. A lot of times the logo on your website is wrapped in an H1 header, and I don't know why developers do this, but they always do this, and that's actually one of the first things that we always have to fix whenever we take over a new client's website. So one H1 header, make sure that it's conversational, make sure that it contains your location, and that it contains your main keyword. So personal injury attorney, criminal defense lawyer, divorce lawyer, family law attorney, whatever you are, make sure that's in your H1 header. Now, your second most important element on a website is going to be the website's URL. Now, the homepage is a little different because the homepage, sometimes you'll have a branded homepage, so it's like smithlawfirm.com. But a lot of times you'll see lawyers that have the URL of, orangecountyduiattorney.com or, different things like that. That's called an exact match domain, where basically the domain name matches the exact keyword that you're going for. And there's arguments to be made on both sides of that. I feel that when you have an exact match domain, Google is more critical of your domain, and that you won't get penalized, but it's more difficult to rank exact match domains in a lot of instances. There's also sometimes when exact match domains work really, really well, but it kind of depends on a few different things. But from the research that I've seen, or from the actual stuff that I've seen, I've found it a little more difficult with exact match domains. Now, a long time ago, if you had, orangecountyduiattorney.com, you would always be number one for orangecountyduiattorney.com. It didn't matter what you had on the website. You could just have a bunch of pictures of cats. Someone searched Orange County DUI attorney, and you would still show up for Orange, and your website would still rank number one. And that's kind of why Google has made it more difficult for these exact match domains to appear for this, because, before you could buy the exact match and then just kind of own the search, regardless of how good your website was or anything, what you had on the website or anything about it. So that's kind of why they changed that. Now, if it's an internal page, so for example, if you have your home page is maybe like a personal injury page, and then your internal page is like the car accident page, for example, then your URL can be a little different. So what'll happen is it'll be like smithlawfirm.com/ and then after that is where you're going to insert, your keywords. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You could do new-Orleans-personal-injury-lawyer, but that's a little spammy. I don't like doing that. So what I like doing, it wouldn't be personal injury, it'd be car accident lawyer. But what I like doing is I like just having a keyword that's related to the general topic. So I like doing something like smithlawfirm.com/ car accident or auto accident or slip and fall or something like that, kind of a short URL that doesn't have the word attorney in it, doesn't even necessarily have the geo in there, but it does have the keyword. So, and the reason I think that URL is more important than H1 header is because I've seen bigger impacts from making changes to URLs in terms of Google ranks. If we change a URL, rankings go up or they go down. And I've seen that more than H1 headers. But I'm still very cautious about putting keywords and actually stuffing too many keywords in the URLs and making the URLs structured in a way that kind of seems a little unnatural. Now, the most important place where you can put your keywords and the most important part for on-page search engine optimization is the page title. Now, the page title serves a couple of purposes. The page title is actually when you have multiple tabs open on your browser. The text that's actually in the top of the tab, that's going to be your page title. The page title is also displayed in the Google SERPs. So when you search personal injury lawyer, Baltimore, or whatever you do, you're going to see all the listings. The actual title of every single one of those listings is the page title of the website. Sometimes if you do a branded search, it changes a little bit, but that's what it is. It's the page title. Now, the most important place to put your most important keyword is at the beginning of the page title. So if you're a Baltimore personal injury attorney, your page title should say Baltimore personal injury attorney or personal injury attorney Baltimore, depending on which has higher search volume. And that's something that really you should kind of take a look at, or your SEO team should take a look at, is, what has higher search volume. Sometimes it's the same, but sometimes it's different. I also like to take a look at what gets more searches. Is it Baltimore personal injury lawyer or Baltimore personal injury attorney, or law firm or attorneys or lawyers or different things like that? But the page title is by far the most important part that I feel I think it's the most important part to your law firm's SEO for every single page. An optimized page title, with the page title being the very first thing. So don't put your law firm name in there and then the keyword. You want to make sure that the page title, the further left it is, the more important Google sees it. So these are the three most important elements of your website: the page title, the URL, and the H1 header. Now listen, if you want a 24-part video series that's going to show you step by step how to rank your law firm in the Google Maps, and it'll go over how to make sure that your page title is correct, how to make sure your URL is correct, how to get your H1 headers correct, how to identify all these things. And I do it, and I show you in a very, very, very easy, non-techno-babbly way, because this stuff can be a little difficult. And this is kind of basic SEO, but and it's really not that difficult if you have somebody showing you what to do. So basically what I did is I created a 24-part video series that shows you step by step over my shoulder. I actually share my screen so you can take a look and see on the actual screen how I'm doing everything. And I show you how you get your law firm ranked in the Google Maps. It's a completely free guide. All I ask is that you help me cover the shipping and handling, and I'll send it to you on a USB. So if you want to get that completely free, just go to heylawyers.com. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to hear from you, happy to help, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.